Welcome back to the 2023 UAA Conference Championship meet hosted by the University of Chicago at Stagg Field and Hayden Track. It is now 6:58 p.m. Central Time, and we're gearing up for the women's 10K here in a few minutes. Before I run through our entrance, I have a few special guests on the mic. First, we got Sarika Temi-Bapat. She's a class of 2022 from the University of Chicago, ran track and cross country. So glad to have her insight here for this race. How are you doing, Sarika?
Great, thanks, Mark. Excited to be here.
Awesome, excited to have you. And we also have Sam Craig. He is also class of 2022, distance runner, cross country, All-American. Got lots of accolades to his name currently. Getting a PhD in mathematics at the University of Wisconsin and running for their team as well. Happy to have you, Sam. Hope you're happy to be here as well.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah,
all right.
It's been a fun day so far, and I'm looking forward to a couple good 10Ks.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad there's no precipitation here, and we've got about a half hour left of sunlight, so we'll see what's going on. But the lights are on, and we're definitely ready for some fast 10Ks here. In this women's 10K final, which is going to get started here in just a few minutes, we've got 10 runners today. The top seed is Katarina Biermack. She's a senior from University of Chicago coming in with a 35:08 seed time. She's ran that earlier this year at the WashU Distance Carnival with a very fast last 5K. So excited to see KT out here today. We've also got Frances Schaeffler, a senior from UChicago, seated at 35:10. Anna Koenig-Zeisler is seated at 35:11, also a senior from the University of Chicago. And our other two athletes who have run the 10K before this year are Kira Olson from WashU. She's a senior with a 35:40. And then Hannah Marin from NYU, also a senior with a seed time of 39:16. We've got a handful of athletes who haven't run this race before, including Katie Rector, a freshman from WashU, Lauren McKenna, a sophomore at Carnegie Mellon University, Alyssa Hoffman, who's also a sophomore at Carnegie, Sophie Tedesco, a sophomore from the University of Chicago, and Claire Hu, a senior from Emory. Of those folks, Sophie and Katie Rector have not run a 10K before, so we'll see their debut in the 10K tonight. But the other folks, Claire Hu has run 37:38, Alyssa Hoffman has run 40:33, and Lauren McKenna has run 41:56. So excited to see all of those athletes here tonight. Sarika, if you're running a 10K tonight, what's your strategy here? Especially if you're a UChicago athlete, what's going on? Are you thinking team tactics, taking it out slower, or should they try to take advantage of those fast seed times and run it quick?
Well, it's turned out to be quite a nice evening out here tonight, Mark. So I think taking advantage of those, three other teammates in this race with you, just taking that first mile to get your feet under you and getting in a rhythm. I think all of these athletes have, we've seen in previous 10Ks this season, really a nice last 5K in them if they start out smart. So I think just getting in a nice rhythm with your teammates, looking for that maroon and white, and just starting to enjoy the race before dropping the hammer.
Yeah, and they're off, and the hammers are getting ready to be dropped for sure. Not a crazy start as you would expect in the 10K, but for sure the three UChicago women who are seated 1, 2, and 3 in this race have some familiarity running together. They finished 5th, 8th, and 3rd in the indoor 5K at the NCAA Indoor National Championships. That's KT finishing in 5th, Frances finishing in 8th, and Anna Koenig-Zeisler finishing in 3rd in that indoor NCAA 5K. So they definitely have some experience running together and some success running together, and are definitely looking to bring their teammate Sophie Tedesco along to a great finish here in her debut. So lots of action here across the 25 laps tonight. Really looking forward to seeing all of that and sharing all of that with the people on the stream. So great to get this race underway.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got Anna Koenig-Zeisler going straight to the front there, probably looking to carry her teammates through the front first couple laps, and that's something we saw in the UAA 5K as well. She's a phenomenal pacer and definitely probably looking to lead her teammates through a first couple smooth laps.
Yeah, my favorite fact about Anna KZ is I think this is her second outdoor track season. I think that's right. She was originally a soccer player who transitioned to track. Here they are coming through in about looks like 1:30 something for the first lap. They got 24 to go. So a good start here. Nobody's really dropped off the pace yet. Everyone's still there. But it's Anna KZ in first, Katie Biermack in second, Sophie Tedesco in third, Frances Schaeffler in fourth, and then the two WashU runners in fifth and sixth, followed by Carnegie in sixth, NYU in seventh, and Emory in eighth.
And, Mark, I think there was a little bit of speculation before this race as to who's going to take this race out. We have some front runners in the WashU pack as well, but I think given just the number of very talented UChicago runners in this race, it's kind of clear who the pack has decided to defer to in terms of the pacing for these first couple laps, even though it doesn't look to be too hot in these first 800 meters.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're paying homage to the old Mike Smith saying, "Go to sleep." Lots of athletes just watching the head in front of them and letting Anna KZ, the senior from UChicago, do a lot of the work right now. So really exciting to see these runners packed up as they come here for the second lap of this 10K. They'll have 23 to go when they cross the line here. And again, it's Anna KZ, Katie Biermack, Sophie Tedesco, Frances Schaeffler, all from University of Chicago, lined up 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. And they're coming through at about 2:54 for the leaders. Sam, do you have an idea of what kind of pace that is? I don't want to spring that on you, but
so they were at about 86 on the last lap.
That'd be about 5:40 pace, which is right on track for Francis' PR, very close to the PRs for a lot of these women as they come through those first 800 meters. But they're looking very smooth, so I'm expecting them to drop that pace a little bit if they're feeling good at about halfway.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the UChicago athletes are taking advantage of some team running here. They've already split up the two WashU runners, so it looks like Kira Olsen is hanging on to the back of Frances Schaeffler there, but little bits of gaps forming between Kira Olsen and the other runner from WashU.
That'd be Katie Rector, and I do think that having a little bit less experience in this race definitely can be daunting. Looking forward to those first 25 lap experience on this 400 meter track. I think very understandable that the more experienced runners in this group, Kira Olsen included, would feel a little bit more comfortable going with that front pack.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think Sophie Tedesco, the sophomore from UChicago, is thinking, this being her debut, but trying to put herself in a position to score the maximum amount of points for her team? Is she just following the others, or does she have aspirations to make a splash in her debut and kind of upset some of her teammates here?
I think especially with the depth of the UChicago team this spring and this fall as well, the fact that Sophie hasn't been in a number of championship events this year does not speak to her talent at all. Very talented runner, and I think we've seen in a number of her races this spring definitely a lot of potential here on the track. I think the UChicago training plan is really built around trust, and I think she knows what her teammates are going to do, and she knows that she'll be able to hang on as she has, I suppose, in training. So it definitely looked like there was a little energy boost from the UChicago fan section there with a little kick dancing. I don't know what that's called, but there are definitely some antics going around on the 100-meter mark in the lap there, trying to spur their four athletes to a big points finish here for the Maroons. Sam, how are they doing on speed here? Looks like we're just at 5 minutes and 20 seconds or so into this race. This will be their fourth lap, I imagine, right? Is that right?
They're coming up on their fourth lap, first mile. They slow down a bit on the second lap. You don't want to read too much into the paces on any of these laps. They have a lot of laps to run, and how the race shakes out will, any of these runners could hang with this pace for a good long time. So, how the race shakes out, we won't really see that for if they want to commit to a pace that they aren't ready for, they could hold that for 4 miles, 5 miles, and then we'd see that over the last few laps. And so you have to be patient when you're watching this and say, maybe this athlete isn't ready to hang with this pace, but they're going to hang with it for a good long time, and then we'll see over the final mile or 2 miles whether they bit off more than they could chew, or they have a better idea of where they are than we do. But that said, they slowed down some. I didn't get that mile.
Yeah, I think they were like 5:49 or so, which according to my calculations is just over 36 minutes for a 10K there through the first mile. So definitely within the wheelhouse of especially the first four UChicago women, and also Kira Olsen, who's right in that pack right now. So we'll see if Sophie Tedesco is also up for that pace. I assume she is, with the fantastic teammates that she's got to train with and race with this evening. So we'll see. But you may have noticed that the lead has changed. It's now KT Biermack from UChicago, who took over for Anna Koenig-Ziesler in the leading position there. KT's got lots of experience in this event. She was the fastest UChicago athlete at that WashU Distance Carnival earlier this season, and is definitely ready for the responsibility to lead this pack on to a good finish. But don't want to discount Kiara Olsen there in fourth place, splitting up that UChicago pack just behind Sophie Tedesco and in front of Francis. As they're coming through here, 5 laps in, 20 to go. That's a pretty daunting task. Sam, if you're at 20 laps to go in the 10K, are you thinking at all? Are you looking at the lap counter, or are you just focused on staying relaxed and like looking at the person in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for these athletes, they're thinking, they've talked with their coach, and they're thinking, I'm going to run, I don't know what it is, 88. I'm going to run probably faster than that, probably 86, 85. And I'm just going to keep running 85. So right now, that doesn't hurt. Eventually it might for some of them, but right now I think they're feeling pretty good and pretty controlled. This isn't a tactical race. They're making the pace move from the start, and I think right now that's just the focus.
Yeah, definitely.
Hit that pace. Definitely.
Yeah, and to just give some more shouts for our athletes in this race. I mentioned already that KT Francis and Anna KZ finished 5th, 8th, and 3rd in the NCAA Indoor Championships already. At UAAs in the 5K, they finished 3rd for KT, 4th for Anna KZ, and 5th for Francis. So lots of success running together at the UAA level as well. It's just exciting to see this group of athletes come out here and give it their all here. Love to see this team tactic playing out.
One thing that's interesting to look at is what shoes they're wearing. So I'm seeing 4 Vaporflies. That's on KT, Anna, Kira, and
Francis, I think.
Francis, yeah. And then the only one in Dragonflies is that's Sophie Tedesco. And that's an interesting decision. I think you're wearing Vaporflies if you want to be efficient, if you want to push the pace. And spikes indicate that you're thinking about what you're going to do on that last lap and how fast you're going to be able to close. But I think also it just comes down to comfort for some of these athletes. And so, maybe you shouldn't be reading in too much into that. And, maybe there are 4 athletes there who like the Vaporflies most and one that likes the Dragonflies most. And but it'll be interesting to see if that, that might play a role in the last lap, who has spikes and who doesn't. Because, it's easier to run fast when you're in spikes and run real fast when you're in spikes.
Sam, when you ran the 10K, what were you wearing?
Always spikes.
Always spikes.
Yeah.
What was that? Just because you were ready for that last lap kick, or are you not so comfortable in the Vaporflies, or what was the reasoning there?
That was what we wore at the time. I don't know. I don't think we ever really had a serious. Wait, did we wear Vaporflies?
Henry Myers, who's off the mic right now, says he wore Vaporflies for the 10K.
I'm going to say, Sam, I believe you also wore the Vaporflies for your first sub-30 attempt at success. So.
It definitely would not surprise me if Sam Craig did something old-fashioned. So love to see that. But 18 laps to go here. They're at 10 minutes and 16 seconds or so at that marker. They're coming up on 2 miles in, I think, here, and 1 more lap. So we'll try to get that split for you and tell you what pace they're on. But, yeah, definitely if Sophie Tedesco thought it that deeply and was like, yeah, I've got fast teammates in this race, but I'm ready to kick them down, I think that would be great. And love to see that confidence from the debut of Sophie Tedesco, the UChicago sophomore there. But right now it looks like we've got KT Biermack, Anna KZ, and Sophie Tedesco, along with Kira Olsen, who are splitting away a little bit. There's a little gap back to Francis Schaeffler, the senior from UChicago. So the UChicago cheer section, as you can see over there, is doing everything to keep Francis engaged, but we'll definitely keep track of that gap and see if Francis is able to reconnect with that front pack here. Sam, I don't know if you've ever been dropped in a 10K, but if you're back there, what are you thinking? Are you trying to just stay at the pace that feels relaxed and confident there's a lot of race left, or are you worried that gap is growing too fast?
I don't think she's trying to close that gap right now, and I don't think that makes sense right now. I don't know if you saw the high five between the top two. That was fun. Having teammates out there is a big plus, and I think it's really nice for them that they get to count on each other. But for Frances, I think, she's just trying to stay focused, and she's fitter than the athletes behind her, certainly, and maybe than some of the athletes ahead of her. So she stays focused, she stays disciplined. They might come back to her. And ultimately, all you can do is run your hardest and give what you have today.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's worth noting also that Frances has raced against some of the women in this race before. Last spring, having definitely a very successful 10K debut season, and also at the Wash U Distance Carnival qualifying for nationals in the 10K. So I think she's fairly comfortable in her strategy of feeling relaxed that first 3 miles and reeling the race back in to her as folks in the front start to fade. So I think especially as some of these are familiar ponytails, she'll feel pretty confident in her abilities and stay in the races as things progress.
Definitely, and it's tough to see so well, but it looks like she was giving a little chit-chat to the fan section out there on the backstretch. So I think she's staying relaxed and keeping in it. Just an update on your splits. Couldn't see the clock exactly right, but I think they were 11:45 through 3,200 meters. That's about the same pace they were going through the first mile, about 36-minute pace. So still well within the PR range of all of these athletes. And definitely some relaxed faces there. I think Kira Olsen was smiling at her fans in the bleachers there, coming through 16 laps to go. They are still packed up. Looks like the second Wash U runner, Sarika, remind me her name?
That is Katie Rector.
Katie Rector is also moving up on Frances, so we'll see if Katie has anything to say about that fifth place spot as the night goes on. But we're what is that, nine laps in, I guess, 9 laps into the women's 10K. Leading the pack, we got Anna KZ and Katie Biermack right behind her. They've been sharing the lead. Sophie Tedesco making her 10K debut from the University of Chicago is in third, followed by Kira Olsen from Wash U in fourth, who's right at the heels of Sophie Tedesco there. Back a little bit is Frances Schaeffler in fifth, followed by Katie Rector from Washington University in sixth. Looks like behind that we've got an athlete from Carnegie. That'd
be Lauren McKenna.
Thank you, Sarika. I appreciate that. And behind her, we've got an Emory and an NYU runner. I guess that is probably Claire Hu and Hannah Marin. So lots of athletes competing for their team, competing for points out there tonight. And, we love to see that. But U Chicago pack is still looking calm. Katie's looking back at Sophie, saying a few things, keeping the team engaged. Love to see it. Kara Olsen still smiling at her fans from the back of the pack there, so we'll see what happens. But 15 laps to go there, 10 laps in at 14:37 or so. So definitely moving well, and it looks like Katie Rector has just passed Frances Schaeffler there. Hopefully Frances can stay engaged and keep herself right on Katie's shoulder there as we keep going in these last 15 laps.
Yeah, I want to emphasize, in a lot of events, if you see an athlete with a no time, you're wondering what's going on. Like, are they coming off an injury? Why are they running an event that they've had the chance to run before? And that's not the case for the 10K. This is it's a event that kind of fatigues you more just because it's longer than other races. And so you'll see a lot of talented athletes not touch the 10K until this conference meet. If they're not planning on running it in nationals, just stay down 5K and, not really put that stress and that much disruption in your training. So, I'm just looking at Katie Rector. She came in without a seed. She's a really talented runner. 17:42 over the 5K this season, and she was 7th in UAAs at UAAs and cross. 2 spots ahead of Frances Schaeffler, in fact. So, we shouldn't be surprised that she is, ready to contend with these top few runners. She might bring it up back to the pack. She might not, but she's still talented, and we need to look at her cross results and her track results for the shorter races to see what she's ready for.
Yeah, definitely. And also I think as we continue to remember that this is a team competition and that we got two, especially on the women's side, two incredibly powerful and heavy-hitting teams out here in WashU and ranked third in the country, and UChicago in fourth, that it's important to note that all of these four women in the top pack are ranked in the top 12 of the NCAA D3 this season. It looks like KT Biermack is ranked fifth in the 10K. Anna KZ is ranked 6th. Frances Schaeffler is ranked 7th. And Kira Olsen is ranked 11th. So definitely a lot of firepower in this race. Lots of people testing each other to see who's going to have the snuff to get those All-American spots come the national meet later this season. But still, we got Anna KZ, KT Biermack, Sophie Tedesco, Kira Olsen in the top 4. Katie Rector is in 5th. Frances Schaeffler in 6th. Then there's a gap back to the Carnegie athlete, Lauren McKenna, and then followed by the Emory athlete, Claire Hu, and the NYU athlete, Hannah Marin.
And it looks like Katie Biermack is taking that lead from teammate Anna KZ again, coming into another mile. 13 laps to go, and it looks like that last 1,200 was about 4:20 pace. It's fairly consistent with what they've hit in the last couple laps.
4:20 for a 1,200.
Yeah.
So they were like 17:43 through 5K there, I think, right? Was that about the time that you all saw?
Yeah.
Let me see. Punch that into the handy-dandy pace calculator. See what we get.
Yeah, I think they might have been a little slower than 17:43. Are they coming up on 5K now?
Yeah, 5K is right here.
Okay, so we're looking at more like 18.
Right.
Somebody's in the way. Yeah. Based on the most recent splits, I'd be thinking 36 mid.
Yeah. Yeah, still on pace, kind of like 5:40 pace, I guess, ish per mile. Just looking for a 36-minute or so finish, as Sam said. They just went through 5K, so they're halfway done for this lead pack. And it's Katie Biermack in first, Anna KZ in second. Kira Olsen's coming up on Sophie Tedesco's shoulder, but it's still Sophie Tedesco, the UChicago sophomore, in third, and Kira Olsen from Washington University in fourth.
And with 12 laps to go, it looks like their last mile was a 5:48, so definitely has slowed a little bit from that initial split, but certainly still in line with what we'd expect to see from the debut, Sophie Tedesco, and her teammates, likely pacing her to a strong debut.
Yeah, 5:48 pace is 36:02 for a 10K, so still, again, well within the wheelhouse of these top four, and presumably also with Sophie Tedesco, who's hung right in there for 5K and really doing a great job on her debut there.
So three of these four athletes are coming back in the 5K tomorrow, and that's three of these four athletes up front, as well as the other WashU women. So that's Katie Biermack, Anna Koenig-Zessler,
Sophie Tedesco.
Sophie is not coming back.
Okay.
She's done after today, thank goodness. Or I'm sure she's saying thank goodness.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Katie Rector and Kira Olsen are all coming back. And, that can play a role in how you approach this race. If you're running for first, you're probably not thinking about the 5K. But if you're looking ahead and there's 50 meters and you're looking behind and there's 50 meters, you might take the foot off the gas and just let what's going to happen. And, give a little more gas for the 5K. And then, if you're out in front and you're trying to set the pace, you might be thinking, hey, if I make this hard, if I make this fast, I'm going to be feeling that tomorrow. And I don't, I want two wins.
Right.
So I'm not going to go out and try to blow it up today and have nothing left for tomorrow. That's, you're not getting 2 wins that way.
That's right. Yeah, and there were 11 laps to go here for the leaders. And yeah, it's definitely interesting balancing that need to get the points in the 5K, but also if you're that UChicago top 3 right now, wanting to get all 24 possible points out of that and hold off Kira Olsen from WashU. So this is definitely an important moment for UChicago's bid for the team title this outdoor championship. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think anybody's going to let off the gas for Kira Olsen to snag some points here for WashU. So yeah, definitely looking for Katie Biermack and Anna KZ to try to pull Sophie Tedesco along and hold off Kira Olsen while they do it. Just an update on the places further back. It looks like the Carnegie athlete, who is Lauren McKenna, just passed Frances Schaeffler and moved into 5th place. 6th place. My apologies. Katie Rector from WashU is still in 5th.
And just want to clarify based on this heat sheet here, not entirely sure if that's the Carnegie athlete Alyssa Hoffman or Lauren McKenna. Looks like we had at least one scratch here this evening. So one of those Carnegie athletes has taken the lead over Frances Schaeffler, which is certainly uncharacteristic. We're seeing Frances definitely taking her foot off the gas a little bit here. Certainly a number of conditions that could be contributing to that. Getting a little bit late in the track cycle for some of these athletes, so not entirely unusual to see just a little bit of fatigue at this point in the season.
Certainly, yeah. But still, it's KT Biermack, Anna KZ, Sophie Tedesco, and Kira Olsen in that top pack. They've got they're in the middle of, I guess, their 10th, their 15th laps in, I guess. They got or this will be lap 16 that they'll finish now. They'll have 9 to go after that. So still looking strong, looking relaxed. Lots of athletes just grinding it out, waiting for those last couple laps to really put the pedal to the metal and see what the others in this field have got. So again, that's Katie Biermack, Anna KZ, Sophie Tedesco, Kira Olsen in your top 4.
I'm curious, Em, the experience you've had in the 10K, what was your preferred sort of formation? Are you looking for, a tight pack? Is having somebody behind you kind of on your heels like Kira Olsen is to Sophie Tedesco until just a second ago helpful? Is that what you want? Or are you looking for kind of a little bit more of a spread to keep it interesting? Sort of what seems to work best for you, and what do you think will be helpful for these athletes out here this evening?
Well, when you're out there racing, you don't want to lead. You want to hide, and you want the people out front to get themselves nice and tired. So in that last lap, you're ready to take them down. And I think that's what Sophie Tedesco, that's what Kira Olsen are doing. And maybe they won't have that last lap, or maybe they'll get dropped even before that. I mean, the pace is moving along well now, but they want to stay just tucked into lane 1, eyes on the back of the person ahead of them, not tripping over their heels, but as close as they can otherwise, and just chill. They don't need to be, moving up or positioning right now. They just need to be staying efficient.
Yeah, and I'm especially impressed by the efficiency with which Sophie Tedesco is doing that right now in her debut. She was passed a second ago by Kira Olsen from WashU, who moved into 3rd position. But Sophie Tedesco let her in and then locked right into her to the line right behind her. And definitely a vote of confidence for Sophie Tedesco to just keep on this pace and stay right there despite a little change in formation. So looking strong. All of these 4 runners coming in. They'll have 2 miles to go, 8 laps. And it looks like they'll come through that time or that distance in about 24, 15? I can't see.
17, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have 24:41.
They've sped up a bit. So we've gone from 127s, 128s to more like 124, 125. I think that's probably an intentional decision once they got through the midway part of the race to stop worrying about keeping Sophie Tedesco in it and start worrying about taking
Kira Olsen out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely looking at some lengthening strides here, and helpful to note maybe that last 2 mile was 11:30 pace, so definitely a little bit faster than we've seen at other parts of this race, but again, definitely within the comfort range of a lot of the runners in it, and we're still looking at a pretty tight top 4 here, even as they put more and more distance on the rest of the field.
Yeah, and just for reference, when Sam is saying 124, 125, that's right around 35-minute pace. So they're definitely picking it up and doing the hard work and the dirty work now. So definitely lots of lots of grit coming from these athletes here as they approach the finish line with 7 laps to go. And the order is Anna Casey, Katie Biermack, Kira Olson, Sophie Tedesco, your top 4, as it's been for the last few laps. Gearing up here for an exciting finish, 7 laps to go.
And for the folks at home, let's see, they just lapped the Carnegie Mellon runner who's in this race. In 5th is Katie Rector. In 6th is that Carnegie Mellon woman.
Which is either Alyssa Hoffman or Lauren McKenna.
Yeah. Thanks. Francis has stepped off the track, it seems. And then we have Claire Hu, and that's Claire Hu from Emory, grad transfer from Caltech, and Hannah Marin from NYU.
We've got another grad transfer in this field. Kira Olson actually began her career at Case Western as a Trojan, and has since moved to St. Louis to compete as one of the Bears. So definitely a value grab for the WashU team out there. And it looks like we've got a little bit of separation between Kira Olson and Sophie Tedesco there between 3rd and 4th place. Still Anna Casey in 1st, KT Biermack in 2nd, and then Kira Olson is in 3rd. A little gap back to Sophie Tedesco, who's looking to hang on to this pace. She's still running an absolutely insane debut, but it looks like we've got a group of 3 here that's ready to really get down to business. That's Anna Casey, Katie Biermack, and Kira Olson. Kira Olson is still pretty relaxed and getting some shouts from the bleachers near us, so she's definitely looking strong here as they cross with 6 laps to go. What kind of pace were you looking at, Sam?
More 124s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that last 800 was 2:48. That's an honest pace.
Yeah, they're definitely moving for now, so that's probably why the group is going to start to splinter. If you're Anna KZ right now and you're leading, what are you thinking? Are you trying to run the sting out of Kira Olson, or are you more worried about running the sting out of yourself?
Running the sting out. You want to run the sting out of Kira Olson. You know, she's a WashU runner. They kick well, and you know, Anna knows she's fitter than Kira. She beat her by half a minute, over the last, 2K, last month. And so she's thinking, we're just going to run it back, WashU, distance carnival. We did the exact same thing, and we broke her. We're going to do it again.
Yeah.
But if I'm Kira Olson, I'm definitely thinking, I know how this went last time. Got to hang on to that conservative pace a little bit longer this time, but without some of that uncertainty. Didn't do any work till now, and I know what I need to improve upon this time. So definitely will be interesting to see how she responds to this accelerated pace in these last couple laps, especially considering that both of these Chicago women have a 5K ahead of them tomorrow against some pretty stiff competition as well. So it'll be interesting going into these last 5 laps.
And Katie Biermack just took over the lead from her teammate Anna KZ. So now it's Katie Biermack, Anna KZ, Kira Olson, 5 laps to go. Sophie Tedesco is still in 4th by a large margin, so she's still crushing it on her debut. Sam, what do we have for the lap time there?
That was an 82. That's quick.
Quick. Yeah, they're moving.
What is that? 5:32 pace?
Yeah, that's about right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just about characteristic for the last 5K of these 2 UChicago runners up front. Last time, recognizing that they closed close to a 17 flat and dropped Kira Olson by around a pretty good margin, maybe 40 seconds in that last 5K. So looking at a pretty comfortable speed up for these 2, but certainly doing it in a short number of laps and going down to that 80 pace. In this 10K distance, definitely a little bit of a foreign experience, certainly for any runner. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that, closer to VO2 pace over the last couple laps.
Yeah, they're definitely moving now. Looks like Anna KZ retook the lead from Katie Biermack there. Kira Olson is still in 3rd place. It's the 3 women, Anna KZ from UChicago, Katie Biermack from UChicago, Kira Olson from WashU. Those are your top 3. Sophie Tedesco from UChicago is hanging on in 4th. But the winner is going to come from these top 3 here as they enter a mile to go.
Another 122, a little slower on a 122, and I said it was a 5:32. I mean, a 122 flat is more like a 5:28. They're running. That was closer to 123. I think that's more like a 5:32. Either way, I mean, real quick pace. 17 low for a 5K. I mean, that'll get you to the national meet on its own. The UAA has been, on the women's side, just an outstanding conference. for women's distance. And I think this 10K is a testament to, there aren't many other conferences, maybe not any other conferences, that can have a race where 4 women in the top in national qualifying position are going to step up to the line.
Yeah, and we were looking at around 17:40 for that last 5K, so definitely a pretty hot pace now, and something, a 5K that's impressive on its own, even without the context that it's in the last stages of this much longer race.
So here they come into the home stretch once again. Anna KZ still leads her teammate Katie Biermack. Kira Olsen's hanging on for third. No separation between those three. Tough to tell who's going to have the legs over these last 3 laps, but they're around 31, 33 or so as they cross the line there with 3 laps to go. What pace are they on, Sam?
It was a 121, 5:24 pace. Anna KZ is in outstanding form. Just a couple weeks ago at Platteville, she ran a 16:30. Let me check my notes on this. 16:37, just an incredible time. I'm expecting her to just keep this hammer down, and as we're seeing now, they're pulling away from Kira, and I think she's just going to hold on to this lead all the way through the finish.
Yeah, it's Anna KZ and Katie Biermack there. We've got a gap on Kira Olsen with, I guess, a K to go here. They got a little, like 10 meters or so. Anna KZ and Katie Biermack looking really, really smooth there as they're just lengthening that gap. Stride length are staying long. Arms are pumping. Shoulders are relaxed. Just loving to see this UChicago dominance out here in the 10K.
Sam, given your experience in the 10K, we've talked a lot about how it's a tactical race and, you're just trying to stay relaxed in those first couple laps. But what are you thinking in the last couple stages of these races as it starts to hurt, as it starts to get a little bit hotter in terms of the pace? Are you trying to go with? Or are you just trying to, avoid crashing and burning before the last 400? What's the thought process in these last 3 laps?
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at 800 left, you got to, commit. And no one's going to start sprinting 800 out, fortunately. We might see that some at the 400. But if you can keep up, you got to keep up. You got to trust that you're going to find another well of strength when you get down and your adrenaline's pumping over that last lap. You just got to stay along till you get to the bell as best you can. But I mean, they've been running hard for a long time, and Kara Olsen's off that, but she off the lead pack now pretty significantly. But she ran a really strong race, and I think she has a lot to be proud of. I don't expect that she's going to close that over 600 meters, and I don't expect that Sophie Tedesco is going to catch her. And so now we're really just seeing whether Anna KZ can keep this lead or whether Katie Biermack has scrounged enough over these laps where Anna KZ is leading to get past her and finish strong.
But here they come in the home stretch. They got less than 500 to go. Anna KZ's head's rocking and rolling a little bit, but if you've watched her run before, that's not a problem. Katie Biermack's relaxed with the head off to the left side. Both of them are ready to give a strong last lap here. Lap to go. Here's the bell. Anna KZ, Katie Biermack, 1 and 2 from both from UChicago heading to the final lap, followed by Kira Olsen of WashU and Sophie Tedesco of University of Chicago. Let's see who can pull it out here between Anna KZ and Katie Biermack from UChicago here for the UAA Championship and the women's 10K. Looking like KT's content to stay right behind Anna right now. I'm not sure if she's saving it or if that's all she got, but there's no gap between the two right now. Anna KZ powering ahead, putting those arm sleeves to good use. Katie Biermack right on her tail. Strides are long. Postures are relaxed. Love to see it from those top 2 women right now. We'll see who gets it done over the last 200. Still Anna KZ and Katie Biermack, 200 to go. You can see Anna KZ pick it up there a little bit. Strides lengthening out. Katie's right on her, though. I think we're setting up for a nice little finish here in the last 100. We'll see who can get it done and get that 10K title. Here they go, UChicago alumni section and fan section whooshing them along as they come to the final straightaway. Katie Biermack up on the shoulder of Anna KZ there, neck and neck as they're going into the final straight. Arms are pumping. I think I see some smiles on those faces, but UAA title on the line for those two, finishing side by side as they come up to the line. 35-28 or 35-30 it looks like for both of them, neck and neck, too close to call.
Oh, and we were looking at, I think, a little bit of a handhold going across that line. Love to see that camaraderie, especially after 6.2 miles of hard work. Really heartwarming to see that kind of a finish there.
Yeah, it looks like they gave it to Anna KZ in 35-29 with KT Biermack just behind. Kira Olsen finishes in third. Sophie Tedesco with an amazing debut. Looks like she's going to cross the line in 35:58 for her first 10K ever. Congrats to Sophie Tedesco, sophomore from UChicago, and an amazing debut in the 10K. Looks like I think the rest of these athletes might have a few laps to go. So this is Claire Hu from Emory. I think she's got one more to go after this. We will keep you posted on those remaining athletes. It looks like next across the line will be Katie Rector. She's got 200 to go from Wash U. She's kicking home right now.
And I want to shout out, the 4 athletes left on the track. It's tough running out here. There's nobody 50 meters ahead of you, nobody 50 meters behind you or more, and you're just doing that for 20 minutes straight. And they do this, and I think these points can decide who's in third in the team battle, who's in third, who's in fourth, and so I just want to give some respect for how challenging that is, even when you're not really racing anybody, to stay focused for that long and to do that to help your team in the team standings at the end. Yeah,
that's big points there for Katie Rector coming home in 5th from University of Chicago. And then it looks like in 6th here we've got the Carnegie Mellon athlete. I'm still not sure if it's
we'll see soon,
Lauren Hoffman or Lauren McKenna or Alyssa Hoffman. Combine those two names. Like she's got a lap to go, it looks like, from the Carnegie Mellon runner. But big points for the team, for all of these athletes. Definitely respect to them for going and putting it out there, even if, like Sam said, they're in no man's land or no woman's land for a while there.
So this is Claire Hu coming up on the home stretch. I'm guessing she has a lap left.
Right, yes.
And then there's Hannah Marin, who is now she's coming onto the home stretch. I'm sure same deal.
Lap to go for both of those athletes, we're pretty sure.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep count. We have to see what the guy in gray, how many fingers is he holding up? It's like, 1 if I see, 2 if I land.
Yeah, that sort of deal, for sure, for Claire, who trying to figure out what exactly is going on, how many laps she's got left. But that was a great team moment there, I think, for the University of Chicago women in a close team battle with Washington University. It's always close between those two at the conference level, and it's at the national level as well. So it's good to see kind of that heartwarming moment between Katie Biermack and Anna Koenig Zeisler there in the 10K going 1-2, getting those points for the team, kind of getting the team something to rally around and be excited about. So we love to see that on Saturday night here at the UAA Conference Championships.
Worth calling out here that the Hayden track record is 36:41. The UAA record is 35:24. So, solidly wedged underneath the Hayden track record and maybe just a bit above the UAA track meet record set by teammate and alum Kaya Kurtenbach back in 2018. But definitely, just worth putting in perspective how fast these times are and, how impressive it is that 2 teammates would come across the line side by side, smiling and clutching hands at the end of such a performance. Really don't think I can overstate how kind of historic that'll be looking back in a couple years.
And it looks like on the board we have confirmation that the Carnegie athlete was, in fact, Lauren McKenna. I think it was 38:45 for her to finish 6th. So congratulations to Lauren McKenna. Sorry for calling you Alyssa Hoffman. And there's Claire Hu from Emory finishing up there. Looks like she's 39:35 or 45:35. Tough to say. And then coming here finally from NYU is Hannah Marin, coming in right at Hannah Marin's at 39:47 if the time's to be believed. So congratulations to all the runners who ran the 10K here at the UAA Conference Championship, scored big points for their team. You got something to be proud about. Great racing. Love to see it. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with the men's 10K. So thanks for tuning in.
All right, we're all wrapped up with the 10K on the women's side. Mark is stepping away for a bit of a break. He'll be back soon, I think. And we got the 10K on the men's side coming right up in a couple minutes. And joining me is Henry Myers. He is a UChicago alum as well. Really an outstanding performer and many-time UAA champion. How many times, Henry?
3 times.
Yeah.
Cross country, indoor 3K, outdoor 5K my senior year. Sam, you actually ran this race last year. Do you want to tell us about how that went, your lessons learned, maybe your mindset during it?
Yeah, I didn't want to lead. Maybe from the 10K you could grasp that I don't think that's a good idea. But in this case, it was a good idea for me to lead because I was maybe a little better shape than the rest of the field. But instead, it came down to a kick. Last lap was 58:59, and one of those WashU guys and their crazy kicks, they got me.
Yeah, I mean, running a 58 at the end of a 10K.
Yeah, we weren't racing for some of that 10K. We were running some 6-minute pace laps, taking it easy.
And what do you expect today? Do you think it'll be sort of like last year with those 5:30 6-minute miles in there in the middle, or?
No. I mean, I'm looking at these seed lists, and I see Jack Begley with that 29:41, and I think he's thinking, I got to just, go to the front and push. And that'll take everybody else out of the race, and, he'll just kind of lead, pull away from everyone through the later stages and just come through alone at first. So I'm not expecting it to get that tactical. Some other names I have an eye on are Alex Evans. He's a WashU athlete, actually transferred from NYU to WashU, went to high school with me. He ran 14:26 over 5K this season, and I think he's ready to be one of those top 3 athletes in the race. Another name I'm looking at, Matthew Coyle. Let me check my notes on Matthew. He's Carnegie Mellon athlete, 14:28 in the indoor 5K. Got 51st at nationals. I think he was the first finisher from the UAA at nationals. Those cross results do make a big difference. They do indicate a lot of, what is required for this race. So, those are 3 names that I'm taking a look at. But I think there's a lot more parity on the men's side. I don't think we're going to see what happened on the women's side. I think it'll actually be the women's was a fun race. I think the men's will be a fun race in a very different way.
Yeah, we just got an anonymous tip here from someone who said that the kicker 10K at conference is a kicker's race, and you always need to kick, which I think is true. I think no one's really going to want to spread it out the way Anna KZ and Katie Biermack did in that women's 10K, and they're just going to sit back and wait for the race to come to them in the last 5K. Sam, do you have any experience with that kind of 10K here at conference?
Yeah, thanks for the contribution, Mark. The listeners back at home heard all about my experience in the 10K conference.
Oh.
Yeah, Jack Begley, actually a lot of these guys were in that race, and they have that time as a stain on their T-First page for the rest of their lives.
That's right.
We were out there running 32 odd, it was not good. I think today will be, more like mid-30s at least. Should be a fun race.
Yeah, I remember watching that race and thinking maybe I should try the 10K, but then it sped up a little bit, and I thought maybe not. So.
Yeah, what was the last mile in that race?
Like a 4:28, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what you might be able to expect today. Fast close.
Yeah, if we're looking for kickers in this field, no one at the indoor meet ran anything shorter than a 3K. And it looks like the top finisher in the 3K was Alexander Evans. Or no, I'm sorry. Alexander Evans, the senior from WashU, who got 8th in the 3K with an 8:32. We also have finishers Tristan Olpen from a junior from Emory. Oh, and I missed in fact, Brett Lucas, who got 3rd in the 3K indoors. So that's definitely a kick to watch. Though we also have Tristan Olpen from Emory, who got 9th indoors in the 3K, as well as Jack Begley, who finished 10th in the 3K with an 8:35. So definitely keeping an eye on those folks if the race goes tactical, as we kind of expect it to. But yeah, definitely lots of intriguing stuff here to keep track of.
Yeah, I think one of the best things to look at when thinking about this race is what happened in the indoor 5K, where you had Matthew Coyle from Carnegie finishing second, who's in this race. You had Jack Begley finish third in that race, running 14:30. And so they will both be running it back in this 10K, developing those sorts of rivalries that you can only develop by racing multiple times over the course of a season.
That's right. I think both of you have had a rivalry with a fella from Carnegie Mellon University. Can you tell me a little bit what it was like racing Michael O'Brien at the national meet and the conference meet? What was it like kind of getting to know him through the competition there?
Well, beating him by 2 minutes across nationals was pretty fun. And we don't need to worry about track.
That's right. Yeah, if he was here, he'd have something different to say about the at least the indoor 5K at nationals, I think, Sam. But
conference and indoor, he beat me.
We really should remember that the only reason he was at the national meet was because me and Sam pulled him to that 14:23 or whatever he ran during indoor conference last year.
Yeah.
So he would never have even been in that race without me and Sam.
That's right. I think actually that's true. Yeah, that's definitely been proven. I think I saw a journal article about that or something. But yeah, definitely looking forward to some exciting rivalries that'll come out of this race. Lots of names that have been in the UAA for a while, like Jack Begley, and others like Aiden Nathan from Case Western Reserve, who's looking to make his mark as a sophomore. But Aiden Nathan has already gotten some good UAA experience under his belt. Even in the 10K last year, outdoors, he finished 5th with a time of 32:27 in the 10K, as well as a 10th place finish in the 5K. So that's just a younger name to look out for as the years go on, as Begley and Cusack and Lucas and those seniors move on to the next stage of their life. But yeah, definitely lots to keep track of here in this field.
Begley placed 4th in that outdoor 10K last year. Do we have that right? Was he 4th or was he 3rd?
I think he was 3rd. I have him as the 3rd, yep.
Yeah, he was the top returner, followed by his teammate Aiden Nathan.
Also returning from the 10K last year, we have the 6th place finisher, Matthew Coyle from Carnegie, as well as the 7th place finisher, Alexander Evans from WashU. So looking forward to seeing those athletes come back again with some UAA experience here. But we're at the line for the start of the men's 10K at the UAA Conference Championship.
Yeah, and we've talked a bit about Michael O'Brien, great runner from Carnegie, graduated last year. An interesting fact about Matthew Coyle, who's Carnegie's top runner in this race probably, is they went to the same high school. That Park Ridge, Illinois to Carnegie Mellon pipeline is working well for Carnegie Mellon.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting pipeline given how close they are to the University of Chicago. So if you're from Park Ridge, consider looking close to home. We'd love to have your 5K talent here at Hyde Park in Chicago as well. So, but jokes aside, we're lined up here, and they're about to get going on the men's 10K final at the 2023 UAA Outdoor Conference Championship. They're making them stand for a long time, nice and cold.
Yeah.
If I was one of these athletes, I would not like this.
Well, they'll warm up with some nice chill laps at the start.
That's right.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Not if Jack Begley has anything to say about it.
And they're off, finally, after standing for a very long time. But we'll get to see here at the beginning who takes the lead, what kind of race they want to make it. Looks like we've got somebody sprinting out to the lead already there. Tough to see who that is.
I think that's Case, but I'm not sure. It's not. Is it Begley? Oh, maybe it is Begley.
It's definitely Begley.
That's definitely Begley.
That's Jack Begley.
Oh my gosh. So, interesting fact about Jack Begley. He is an engineering and philosophy double major at Case Western Reserve
That's a classic
University.
combination.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
He has a lot to think about during this time. Philosophy, engineering, maybe both combined.
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely a few runners getting out in front here. Looks like Begley from Case, we think, as well as a Carnegie athlete. Maybe that's Charlie Murphy. Maybe it's Matthew Coyle. Maybe it's Ryan Podnar. We really have no idea. And then an Emory athlete as well, kind of willing to take it out here a little bit quick. Not so fast, but definitely field's going single file right here. So we'll see what they come through in through 400.
Looks like Jack Begley means business today, though. Going out in a 72-73 there.
Yep, so that's right at, well, just over 30 flat pace. It's in the wheelhouse for him. Is it in the wheelhouse for anybody else? We don't know.
And also that PR that he's run 29.41, he likely did that with the large pack. So if he's going to try to run that by himself, that's much harder.
Yeah, he went to that WashU meet and just got dragged along by some real quick guys.
Yeah, do you remember their names?
There were some of those St. Olaf guys were there.
Oh, okay.
Bokovic, Will Kelly.
But that was this year. That wasn't when Sam and Henry dragged him along.
He ran much slower then.
Oh, okay,
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
we
still
were definitely dragging that race.
Yeah.
Not the pacer who was actually dragging the race along.
Well, we can forget about the pacer. Right now, just Jack Begley, who's pacing this race. He's got one guy from Carnegie right along with him. Again, they're not quite sure if that's Murphy or Coyle or Podnar. I'm not sure if any of the other people in this booth have guesses on who that is. But we've got then the runner from Case. Another, I guess that's... is that Aiden Nathan in second there?
I think that's, if it's a Case guy, I think that's Aiden Nathan. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got the two Emory guys.
Which would be Brett Lucas and Tristan Olpen.
Yeah, I'm seeing if the live results will tell me what. Nope. No useful information.
Yeah, and that's about the way the live results have been going today, unfortunately. But it's still Jack Begley in first, we can tell you that much. He's got the field strung out behind him. Definitely means business. Kind of making our prediction that this would go out slow. I'll look a little silly. But definitely another way you can run a 10K is fast and even the whole time. That's certainly valid.
And you got to respect Jack Begley here. He consistently has taken out these UAA championship races. He's taken out multiple indoor 5Ks this way. He is not afraid to run from the front. But one thing that you have to remember is that he has never won a UAA championship, so he will definitely be thinking about that today. This is his big opportunity as a senior to get a UAA championship.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's running the 5K tomorrow. I might be wrong, but definitely coming in fresh to this one. Definitely like his chances. I just learned that we have another UCXC and track and field alum, Ryan Cutter, in the booth. I'm going to cede my way to Ryan to do some commentary for the rest of this meet. Welcome to the stream, Ryan.
So while they're struggling with the microphones.
Well, thank you, Mark, for the introduction. I'm really glad to be up here. This is awesome. I heard this race was going on, so I sprinted over to make it in time to watch this awesome event. Best event of the meet, probably.
For me, at least. Yeah. Ryan, tell us a little bit about what your mindset would be going into these UAA championship races and any experience with the 10K that you have.
Well, the 10K is really just a battle with yourself more than anyone else. I feel like, in this race, you're really looking to work with your competitors. It's not so much about, there's someone that you need to beat or that they're working against you. Linking up and running a pace together and helping each other out. It's hard to run at the front and do the work. So if you can use your competitors to help you, that's going to be the best outcome of the race just for everyone.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It is hard to run a 10K alone. You really need people to compete with and run alongside the whole time.
Yeah, so these two that are breaking away at the front, I'm sure that they're thinking, this is helping me run a better race, having someone here to do it with. The Chase Pack, they are working together to hopefully close that gap over the course of the race, and that's going to be really the only way to have a successful 10K. Otherwise, it starts to hurt, and you are a long way from home when it starts to hurt, and it's a lonely road if you're by yourself.
We've been running for 5 minutes, 30 seconds, and we still have 20 odd laps to go, so.
They went through a mile in 4:48, so that's 30 flat pace. I'm sure Jack Begley is just saying, I'm going to run 72 until the last lap, and then I'm going to run as fast as I can.
That would be a very impressive run from him from the front to run 72s.
Yeah, does he have that in him? I don't know.
Well, coming up on the 2K mark, they're right on pace still. 6 minutes through the 2K. That's exactly 30-minute pace. And I think he certainly has it in him. The best way to run the 10K is to try to really just lock in on that pace. So,
And who's that right on his heels?
I bet that's Matthew Coyle from Park Ridge, Illinois. Very talented athlete, 1428 in the 5K, studying electrical and computer engineering. And he was 6th in the 10K last year, and the top finisher in the UAA at the cross-country national meet. You know, those cross-country results have a lot of bearing. They're over 8K instead of 10K, but the grass makes it a little tougher. It's a pretty similar challenge to a 10K.
And one thing that we were just reminded of here in the booth is that Jack Begley is actually taking his talents to Hyde Park next year. He's joining the University of Chicago track and field team. So that is very interesting. This will be his home track next year, so he wants to make some good memories here. It'll last all of the next track season.
wow, that is an interesting point. So coming up on 19 laps to go. That was a 71 there, so they've honestly quickened the pace a little bit.
They are not running scared today. They are running.
Yeah, this is an honest race. This is definitely an honest race, and it's definitely in their best interest to make the most of it. I mean, you don't want to just run a 10K to run a 10K. You want to really commit. You want to have a good one, and I'm sure that these guys are looking at the performance list for national qualifying, and I don't know exactly what the cutoff is right now for that top 17, top 18.
Top
but
18, I believe.
That is definitely on their minds right now. They're still early in the race. Anything could happen, but the conditions tonight are pretty nice. There's a bit of a crosswind. They're never really running straight into it. But
so where is the wind hurting them?
The wind is really only hurting them at this top of the stretch. Pretty much where they're coming through right now is where they're feeling the wind straight on, but it's just really coming across the straightaways. So there's not really any one straight that they're going to be hurting more than the other, which is honestly for the best. The temperature is really nice, and it seems like we have a lot of good energy out on the track in the field where a lot of supporters are cheering them on. So
was that another 71 there?
Yep, 71 point. You know, they keep this up. They close hard, and I mean, I have no idea what it'll take. It seems to get faster every year, but that could be enough to get Matthew Coyle into the national meet. We've seen these. Usually conference meets aren't great for running fast times, but we've seen the UAA have some real fast times on distance races, and seen guys qualify to the national meet out of these UAA races before.
And so once again, that's Jack Begley out of Case Western and Matthew Coyle running for Carnegie Mellon, the top two athletes, with Jack Begley leading this race.
Yeah, and so we have that second pack chasing them, not chasing them too closely, but it's
yeah, this gap has really opened up. I mean, they're probably 100 meters on them right now. This is definitely a really strong showing where Begley is really putting in the work. He is grinding right now, but looks comfortable, which is what you really want to see when you're less than halfway through this race. This is a long way to go, so just really trying to stay calm and not really get too ahead of yourself. Coming up on 17 laps to go, 9:35. That's another 71.
71, 72, yeah.
Yeah, so they're really staying consistent. But this is a great showing, honestly, from second place Matthew Coyle. If he can keep this up, he's on pace for a really strong run, especially compared to his personal best. So
yeah,
we'll see how this goes for him.
One thing that's interesting is that if Jack Begley wins this race, gets a UAA title, and then comes back next year and defends that title, he might be the first athlete, I'm not sure, to get a UAA title at two different schools, at Case Western, then he's transferring to Chicago next year.
That's a great point, Henry. You know, these grad transfers are something that's entirely new to the UAA, or almost entirely new. I don't really know. But the coronavirus and the year or so everyone missed because of it means guys are graduating with an extra year or an extra season of eligibility. You know, all three of us in the announcing booth grad transferred out of the UAA lamentably. Yeah. But
you don't want to leave the NCAA till you're at least 25.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
So 16 laps to go. Another 72. They're staying super consistent, super smooth. And this Jack lead Begley is really.
Yeah, I think that is leading the second pack is who's that Case or Carnegie freshman, Panar, and then the two fellows from Emory, Aiden, Nathan, the other Carnegie guy, two Wash guys. You know, most of the race is honestly in that second pack now. They kind of spread out and then reconverged.
Yeah, we almost have two races going on at once. We have a second pack that's around over 100 meters behind the top two runners. And there are
this
8
second
athletes
pack
in
is
that
going to
pack.
have a lot of the points. Getting the 3rd through 8th position sorted out amongst that pack is really going to impact the team scores because this is the final event of the day. And, you know, if we're looking at Carnegie in either a 1 or 2 position, Case in a 1 or 2 position, the rest of the points can really help through that second pack, which looks like it's being strung out a little bit right now. We'll see if it splinters again, but they did reconvene about a lap ago. And maybe they'll start to switch off the leads with each other, help each other run a nice pace. They're 10 laps down for the leaders, 15 to go. They're really staying consistent. This is a very strong, consistent race for them. So,
And Ryan, what are you thinking here if you're Matthew Coyle kind of running into the unknown? He is running much faster than he ever has at the 10K distance.
well, he must be pretty confident in himself. I think if he's sticking on this pace, he is feeling like his fitness and workouts and the training that he's been doing is going to lead to a good time because otherwise, and he's showing, I mean, being 10 laps in and still sticking on this pace, he must be feeling like he has something special in him tonight. So if he is on pace for this and can really commit, then staying smooth, staying relaxed, just letting Jack Begley do the work because it's pretty clear that he is willing to. That's going to be the best way to run a fast time. I mean, Jack is currently sitting on the NCAA list at 11th, so his position is probably pretty secure. He's not really too worried about qualifying, but
So that just shows you the type of athlete that he would be willing to lead this race, even though he's already qualified for nationals. He's willing to just push this race to 71, 72s despite that.
Well, I think he doesn't want it to come down to a kick. You know, we've raced Jack a couple times. He's a wonderful guy. He's not a great kicker, I think. So he wants to push, take the kickers out of the race. And he's taken, I mean, I don't know how many guys are in this race. He's taken 12 kickers out of this race. He's got one more to worry about, and he's just going to try to end him.
yeah, I mean, this is a master class of pacing from him. I mean, he has been consistent every single lap, has really not faltered at all. So if he can keep it up, I mean, I can't quite tell if Matthew Coyle is seeming maybe a little more fatigued. They're coming up on halfway in about 600 meters, maybe 450 meters now. But if he can just stay comfortable and stay calm, then that's going to be good. Jack Begley definitely looking very smooth right now.
Yeah. Matthew Coyle's definitely moving the shoulders, moving the head a little bit, showing the fatigue that this race has brought on him, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he can't go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, coming through 3 miles in 14:30, that is a strong pace. We'll get a 5K split here in about 100 meters. That's going to be really where we see what type of race this could be. It's always a good sign to hit 5K feeling comfortable. I mean, you're definitely working, but if you're already feeling the pain at 5K, it might be a long way home.
Yep.
So they just passed through 5K, just over 15 minutes. That is just on pace for 30 minutes for the 10K, 72 seconds per lap. And if they can keep this up, hopefully close a little faster than the first 5K, we'll be seeing a time of 29 and some change for the finish here.
Ryan, do you know what qualifies for nationals right now in the 10K?
Well, the 16th time so far in the D3 season, 29:48. So they would definitely have to close pretty quick here to enter into that list. But as we said, Jack is already on that list at 11th. He's run 29:41 this season. That's his personal best. So he's just really going for the win here, I think. And I think Matthew Coyle is also going to have a really great performance. really is just about competing here. I think now the Nationals qualifying time might be out of the picture, but winning the meet is still this title. It means something. So there's a lot at stake, and definitely enough to keep pushing.
And we've got 8 or 9 athletes in the second pack now fighting for those 3rd through 8th positions. So that's definitely something to look out for as well.
Yeah, they're running right around 5 flat pace, and that's I think that's manageable for at least some of the guys in that pack. And I think we are going to see, a little race within the race for that last, for the ordering of 3 through 10 or what have you. They're going to be fighting each other without their eyes on the front two.
And how are we doing for splits for these lead two, Sam?
Here we go. They're coming up to the line. Okay, that last 800, I missed a split there. That last 800 was 224, though, so they're still hitting those 72s.
Just automatic, metronomic running from Jack Begley up front.
Yeah, I mean that's a taxing pace. They're putting a lot of load on their aerobic system, and I don't know if they're gonna. Well, I think that they have the strength, both of them. They've shown it in cross or in track 10Ks to manage that load, but it'll be really challenging. And it'll be challenging to come back after 24 laps of that and still kick.
Definitely, but it's really I'm pretty intrigued by this second pack now too, where all of these guys, there's about 8 or 9 guys in that pack. They're all in contention for points here. The winner of that pack will make it onto the podium of this event. It'll be a medaling position, and I think all of those guys are thinking that they have a shot at this point. They're well over halfway, 10 laps to go. Really anything could happen in that pack.
I mean, usually at this point in the race, I'm feeling pretty bad. But every lap that goes by, every time I get by that lap counter and see it go down, your belief builds, and you're more able to cut down the pace and kick. So if I'm Matthew Coyle right now, I might not truly believe yet that I can beat Jack Begley, but every lap that goes down, that belief is building.
Yeah, and they're letting off a bit. Jack is letting off a bit on the pace, at least for that last lap. That was more of a 74, and I mean, maybe Matt's in the hole and he's going to be, on the pain train for the rest of this race, and that's not much relief. But I'm betting that he is. Jack is starting to hurt from this pace, and Matt is welcoming this relief.
I mean, it's a lot more mentally taxing to be determining what the pace is up front, like Jack Begley is doing. You have to figure out every lap whether you're going to keep pushing the pace or slow down, and all Matthew Coyle has to do here is just stay on him.
Yeah, it's physically taxing, it's mentally taxing. Being in front is tough.
Well, regardless of what happens, I think Matthew Coyle is really having the race of his season. This is going to be a great result and finish for him, because getting second in the UAA, especially in the type of race that this has become, that is first or second. This is certainly not decided yet with 9 laps to go for the top guys. This could really be an interesting finish here, because neither of them are really faltering. They're staying consistent and holding fast. We might see some lapped runners in about 400 or 600 meters from now, but they're definitely still working hard.
And I think we should think about who do we think is going to come out of this second pack here. We have Brett Lucas from Emory, who got 3rd in the indoor 3K. I think that's him in 3rd there.
Aiden Nathan, he's the Case Western runner, 2nd in that pack. Now Alex Evans, he is going to the front. He is, almost to the front. He's a WashU runner, and I think if that comes down to a kick, that'll be an area that he's comfortable with.
It looks like the front two have actually picked it up a bit. I could be wrong, but
I mean, they're flying away from the field. This is impressive.
Yeah, they're coming up on 2 miles to go, 8 laps.
Let's see what this split is coming up.
Yeah, they have lost a bit of time. So that was a 73.5 was the most recent. See if they get it back down to closer to 72. 74. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
This
they're
is hard to
they're
maintain.
still staying consistent. I mean, it's definitely a fast pace. This is certainly not a pedestrian effort from either of these athletes.
Yeah.
And the second pack is definitely working hard. We see one Emory athlete potentially coming off the back. We'll see if he can stay connected But these guys are really racing. This is a competitive race. I'm really excited to see how this sorts out over the next 2 miles for the second pack.
And this is where in the 10K it really starts to hurt. So it is important to just stay competitive. Think about those points you can earn in the team battle.
Yeah. Well, maybe some of these guys are feeling great and they're sitting pretty and they know maybe they can't be first or second, but when that comes down to the last lap, they're gonna blow the doors off.
Yeah, I guess you can feel good in the 10K sometimes.
Yeah, especially if you're wearing Vaporflies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that helps.
These
what's
are
the shoe choice today?
They're both spiked up. I mean, probably the right call.
Yeah, to be running this hard, it makes sense to be wearing the spikes, but the consistency from these two guys up front has really been very impressive. They're coming up on 7 laps to go. What was that split?
74.
74 again.
And once again, I think every lap that Matthew Coyle stays right on Jack Begley, the advantage keeps going more and more to him because he's not had to carry any of the mental burden of this race.
I think you're right. I think Begley is definitely hoping that he will tighten the screws enough that Coyle won't be able to have a kick, that he'll kind of take the sting out of his legs. But this is definitely not any sign of faltering from Coyle yet. He is stuck right on Begley's shoulder this entire race.
Yeah. Coyle is not some necessarily a fantastic mid-distance runner, but I think the Carnegie team, their coaches, do a really good job of training those athletes to kick hard and really do it in the last, 60 meters of the race where you can go all out for that last 8 seconds. We saw that from his high school teammate, Michael O'Brien. He loved doing that to me. And we might be seeing that again, where he just sits and sits and sits, and then when we're finally on this home stretch, he blows the doors off.
All right, they have 6 laps to go. They are still staying on this pace. Matthew Coyle right on the hip of Jack Begley.
And like Sam said before, Jack Begley, great guy, great heart, not known for his great kick. So he really wants to run the legs out of Matt Coyle in these next few laps.
And this second pack coming around on the home stretch now, they are also coming up on 6 laps to go. This is still a strong pack. We see one more athlete coming out of the back. So there are 7 athletes going for 6 spots for scoring.
And that's the 3 Wash U runners, an Emory runner. We have a Carnegie Mellon runner at the back of that second pack.
Yeah, so I think there are 4 Wash U runners in the race. I think this is maybe all of them except Salagi, who's coming on the home stretch now. I think the Carnegie runner who's still in the pack is, where is his name? No, it's not Ryan Podner. I think he dropped off.
They are through in 8K. They have
I have no
2K
idea
to go. It was about 24:15. That is definitely a fast pace for that 8K split. Most of these guys have run around that for some of their best days on a cross-country course, but they still have 2K to go. So this is not over yet. And really the racing has just begun. I would say up till now, Begley and Coyle have just been trying to get to this point. It's just been how comfortably and how smooth with like minimal strain can I get to this point. So with 2K to go, this is really where they're going to have to start working hard. We're seeing now a little bit of a drizzle coming down.
Yeah.
This just adds to the moment. Who's going to really hunker down and make it happen with now.
And Ryan, I don't think there's much
to go.
better than a 10K championship race under the lights. I mean, this is just exciting stuff.
This is real fun.
I couldn't agree with you more. Under the lights, a nice brisk spring evening in Chicago. 4 laps to go coming up.
And Matthew Coyle.
There we go. There we go. 1 mile to go.
How will Begley respond here?
He's thinking this is the Bell lap, except it's 4 laps.
They have 4 laps to go. Matthew Coyle has just taken the lead for the first time in this race. This is an exciting development. He sees that there's a chance to really do something special here. He wants to take it into his own hands. This is amazing running from Matthew Coyle tonight.
He's beginning to believe here. He can take down.
Begley did respond to this move, though. Begley is certainly responding. He probably is thinking that it's sort of a reprieve from those pacing duties that he did for the last 21 laps. And maybe this will give him a chance to center himself, get ready for something fast over these next 1,400 meters.
Now the question is, did Matthew Coyle go too early? Should he have saved that for the last lap?
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. The chase pack is now 6 runners strong. They are really moving as well. The scoring positions seem to be all but secured, but as we said, that podium, the final spot on the podium is still up for grabs. It could be one of 5 runners now in that pack. We have Coyle still leading over Jack Begley, but Begley looks quite comfortable, sitting right on his hip now. 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm sure Begley is probably quite happy that Coyle has gone for it and actually not sped up that much. That was a 73.
Interesting.
He gets to catch his breath, and maybe this will tire Coyle out. Maybe it'll give him a bit to recharge his batteries. And
so the chase pack now has 5 athletes that are coming around, heading into the wind, but they will have 3 laps to go as well when they hit the line on the end of this home stretch. It looks like up front we have
I think that's Aiden Nathan. I'm sorry, Aiden Nathan.
Aiden Nathan. And we see Emery making a move to surge to the front of that chase pack now.
I believe that's Brett Lucas taking the lead, going to 3rd place there, leading the second pack.
We have 2 WashU runners, NYU, Emery, and Case.
And the top 2 are still neck and neck up front.
So the top 2 have been lapping some athletes, but they are coming into the home stretch now. When they hit the line, it'll be 2 laps to go, 23 down. Matthew Coyle still leading. Jack Begley still looking smooth. This is really anyone's race. This is going to be an interesting final 2 laps.
And like we said, neither of these athletes necessarily have great mile speed, so we'll see who can pull a kick out of their hat. It looks like
Matthew Coyle just surged heading into the line there with 2 laps to go. Begley responded. He's still there, but we'll see what happens with.
I think at this point they might just be winding up a bit. That was a 75 I had on my computer. They're catching their breath and giving up on this whole pushing the pace thing and just trying to get ready to blast that last lap.
All right, it looks like we have NYU leading the chase pack now. That's Aiden Hassan. He has decided to go for it. And we have Case responding, Emery responding, WashU runners rounding out those scoring positions. But this is an exciting race now with 2 laps to go in the chase pack. The leaders just hit 600 to go. The rain is still at a drizzle. The wind is strong across the track. We have Matthew Coyle coming into the home stretch. They will hit the bell with 1 lap to go.
Going. Jack Begley makes the pass.
Jack Begley decided with 500 meters to go that he was going to wind this up. This is a long way out to start the kick, but it looks like Coyle has not responded immediately. 1 lap to go. There's the bell. Jack Begley has decided that he was going to kick from 500 out. Matthew Coyle is not dead in the water, though. He's still in contention, but Begley is looking strong.
Begley looking really strong coming into the 300-meter mark.
Yeah, you can see guys blast up these leads real quick. You can also see them come back, but, Coyle seems to be running up the white flag a bit. He is not making any headway.
And Begley, 200 meters away from his first UAA title here. This has to feel good.
Begley hitting 200 to go. Coyle about 20 meters behind. Heading into the final lap with the chase pack, we have NYU's Aiden Hassan, who has made a strong move for that 3rd position. The race is not over yet, though, with Begley coming with 100 to go. He looks strong.
What a
He's
last
running
lap
hard.
by Jack Begley.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the split. Man, he made us eat crow. We were not living the life of the mind there.
30:09 for Jack Begley to win the UAA 10K. Matthew Coyle with a huge run, a huge personal best. Wow, Matthew Coyle really had the race of his season.
Okay, and now the finisher.
Stag Field.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. The second pack is coming on the back turn. 150 to go.
We see Aiden Hassan in the 3rd position, but Emery is closing hard.
That's Brett Lucas trying to get into the 3rd position.
Yeah, Alex Evans and then Aiden Nathan. But it seems like Aiden
This is a race for that podium position. Will he run out of track? It looks like Aiden Hassan is going to hit the tape for that 3rd position. And that will round out our podium. But scoring position, we have 2 more spots.
Nathan, and they're both going to Wash U, maybe? Looks like it.
This is a really strong showing for the UAA 10K.
Aiden
Great
Nathan
racing.
there. Aiden Nathan stopped his watch, so look out for that run on Strava. Make sure to give him some kudos.
Yeah. Follow Jack Begley too. He gets some kudos. You know, if not
Yeah.
on the race, give him on the cool down.
Definitely
Yeah.
follow Jack Begley on Strava.
I mean, that's really the key to these type of races. These guys have put in a lot of work, and this is the culmination of those miles, all those days, stacking them together. We have Luke Collins of UChicago sprinting to the finish here. This is a big race for him.
Great close by Luke Collins there.
31:42.
Good day for Luke. Let's go.
Joe Salagi, I think, and then Zach Tubman.
The freshman Zach Tobnin.
I think that's
In his first 10K.
Yeah.
first conference meet, I think. No, he ran indoors. And then that's Tristan Lopin from Emory, and he finishes up the field. I'm sure.
And that rounds out our first day of competition. That was a great race to finish the first day.
That was real fun.
Let's bring Mark back in here to close out the day. What a great day of running we've had.
Yeah, thanks for commentating that 10K. That was riveting stuff. I was lucky to be up here in the booth getting to hear some expert analysis from the folks who did it themselves. So really thankful for Ryan Cutter, Sam Craig, and Henry Myers coming here on the stream to give us some expert analysis here. Let's see if I can find some team scores just to keep everyone updated on where the team battle is at after the first day. So looks like the women's team scores are up right now. According to the live results, after 7 events scored, the University of Chicago is in first place with 101.5 points, followed by Wash U, 72.5 points in second. Carnegie Mellon has 35 points in third. Emory is sitting in fourth place with 28.5 points. Case Western is in fifth with 17.5. Brandeis University is in ninth, and NYU rounds out the field for the first day of UAA competition on the women's side with 7 points. So Henry and Sam, what are you thinking about if you're a UChicago women's team member about what this score means? Are you confident that those 30 points are going to hold up, or are you worried about how close WashU is to you right now?
I mean, WashU is a formidable team, so I'm happy I have the lead on them, but I'm taking this second day seriously. I'm getting every point I can here.
Yeah, no lead is safe. We've seen WashU close down big gaps. And they have a lot of talent on the field and on the sprints, and we're going to see a big change, or we could see a big change on Sunday.
Yeah, but definitely the two teams that we expected to be there on the women's side, the Bears of Washington University and the Maroons of the University of Chicago. So good to see those two big NCAA D3 titans on the women's side for track and field dueling it out. And it looks like we've got team scores for the men after the first day. 7 events scored also. First place with 67.5 points is Carnegie Mellon University. Washington University, just behind them with 65.5 points, is in second. The University of Chicago with 46 points is in third, just edging out Emory University in fourth place. Emory has 44 points. Case Western Reserve University is sitting in fifth place with 30 points. Brandeis has 10, and NYU rounds out the field with 9 points. So a lot closer here on the men's side. Carnegie Mellon is coming in ranked the number 1 team, though just barely. And as we're going into day 2, Carnegie Mellon is beating the number 2 ranked team in the UAA, Washington University, out just barely. So lots of action coming for you tomorrow. The first track event, I believe, is at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. So tune back right here to this link to see that, though we've got field event action starting as early as 10 a.m. tomorrow with the women's triple jump, the men's high jump, the women's discus, and the men's javelin. So stay tuned for that, but thanks for tuning in to day 1 of the UAA Conference Championships for Outdoor Track, and we look forward to seeing you soon.